Hello everyone. So I've been asked an interesting question, and it's about Kilthotic experiences. So this is an opportunity for me to share with you. The word Kilthotic is not well known, and it relates to an aspect of Hebrew spirituality which is called the Tree of Life. So we're very familiar, some of us, with the Tree of Life, called the Kabbalah. And this is the other face, the face which is not recognized and not seen, and it's called Kilthoth, and this is spelt in different ways. If you look at the description, I've given you some of the common spellings. So I want to talk about what a Kilthotic experience is first of all, and go into the Tree of Life a little bit later. So I define a Kilthotic experience as one in which there is a complete violation of your free will. So it's something that's completely outside of your choice. The most obvious example is anyone who has been subjected to black magic which is obviously a violation of their free will. So it's when magic is used to harm another. That would be the most obvious example. So anyone who's ever been exposed to satanic rituals or had dark magic done against them by dark magicians, this is the kind of thing we're talking about. Anyone who's experienced profound cursing. And so what I want to do now is just to focus on a couple of particular things. Obviously, anyone who's experienced any form of sexual abuse, violation in that way, this is definitely Kilthotic. And then the other thing, which is a little bit different, but all in the same spectrum, anyone who's experienced night terrors, and also anyone who's experienced sleep paralysis. These are rather different things. So let me go into these. So some time ago I had a partner and her son experienced night terrors. So what would happen is he would go to sleep as per normal, and then he would suddenly wake terrified because he had experienced events in what I would call the lower astral realm. So it's like when a person goes to sleep and something goes wrong, something goes awry, then they can literally be cast into the lower astral realms, and in which case they would experience horrific nightmarish type things. So that's night terrors. And sleep paralysis is different again. So with sleep paralysis, what actually happens is the person finds themselves in a situation where they wake up out of their conventional sleep state and they realize they are unable to move. So it's literally exactly as the term suggests. They wake up in a state of total paralysis, and this is obviously a very disturbing thing to experience. And I'm also drawn to mention the experience of one particular partner. Was what happened to her is she would find herself, she would wake up in a state of sleep paralysis, but she would then find herself experiencing a being that was attempting to do something to her that was definitely violating her free will, and she was powerless to do anything about it because she was in a state of sleep paralysis. So these are very disturbing things indeed. And then the actual origin of me speaking about this, which is the comment, and this is a person who has had experience with plant medicines, and they sometimes suddenly find themselves in a situation where they are experiencing like the sacred geometry that people see in the plant medicine state, and there's a sense of really strong malevolence about it, and there being something about it that's not right. So this is another example. So what makes a common thread between all these states is what I start off by saying, which is we have an understanding that there's been a violation of the person's free will. So this is not something that's chosen, it's something that is done to the person, and they don't have any control over it. And this is where we get to a little bit at the tree of life. So, and if you look at my film on the Astro Tarot, you can see that what I've done is I've laid out all the tarot cards so that you can understand the tree of life in great detail. So the tree of life, which is Hebrew spirituality, is at the top of the tree of life we have what is called Qlippoth, which is spirit. And at the bottom of the tree of life we've got Malkuth, which represents the earth. So it's literally the heavens and the earth, and all the different stations down on the tree of life, which includes, for example, the number 2. So let me start again. So the spirit is summarized by the aces in the tarot cards. Then we move on to the 2s, and then on to the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, and then the 10s. So that whole journey from spirit to full experience of the physical realms of the earth. Each one of these stations is represented by a particular planet and a particular number, and each of the 4 elements is seen by the 4 tarot cards. If I talk you through the number 6s, so the number 6s relate to the sun, and there are 4 tarot cards that relate to this. They are the 6s of Wands, Swords, Cups and Discs, and they are literally the qualities of victory, science, pleasure and success. So these are the qualities which you would see in the number 6 in the Tree of Life. Now, there is also the Kilthotic Tree of Life. This is where the word Kilthotic experience comes in. So the Kilthotic Tree of Life is literally a mirror image of the Tree of Life. Only rather than facing outwards towards spirit, towards love, towards physical manifestation, it's actually twisted and turned in on itself, and it creates all the experience of darkness and horror that people can experience. So a very mundane example of a Kilthotic experience is actually to go and watch a horror film, which some people actually are attracted to do. Something I don't personally understand, but they are very, very powerful attractions to some people to do that kind of thing. So if you want to go into this in more detail, then someone has actually created a tarot deck to enable you to explore the Kilthotic Tree of Life, and it's called the Shadow Tarot. So that's a really big hint if you do want to go into explore this subject. So with the Shadow Tarot, you've literally got all the different tarot cards in all the conventional tarot decks, but not laid out for the Tree of Life, but laid out for the Kilthotic Tree of Life. So each of the stations has got a completely different name. So Qlippoth, spirit, will have a completely different name. All the 10 stations will have a completely different name, all the way to Malkuth, which have a completely different name too. And so this Kilthotic Tree of Life enables you to look at the shadow placement of each one of these. So this, the station which is represented by the number 6, which in the Tree of Life is called Qlippoth, will have a completely different name and different card. And the idea is it's a way for those who wish to do so to explore all the qualities of that particular dark side of experience. Now, what I'd like to do now is just to give you some other means by which to understand all this, which is, if we look at Greek mythology, we've got what we call Hades, and Hades represents like the underworld. And if we go into the Roman spirituality, rather than Hades, we have Pluto. So Pluto is a very interesting planet in the solar system, in as much as it was fairly recently declassified down from a planet to a planetoid. And Pluto represents the hidden, what is concealed from everyday life. So in a way, what I would argue is that a way in which to begin to understand the Kilthotic Tree of Life and Kilthotic experiences is to look at the qualities of Pluto. So Pluto is what is hidden, what is concealed. It represents the dark side. It represents all that conventional human beings will be tending to fear and step away from. And Pluto was discovered in 1929, at the same time the atom was split, and then suddenly there was the capacity for human beings to actually create a level of destruction which, as far as we know, has not been achieved before. Although in fact, if you go further back, you will find that there are evidences to suggest that we have actually had access to this energy before, but in terms of conventional history, it's not recognized as being the case. So Pluto is certainly a way to look at it. So violent upheaval, disturbing transformations, this kind of thing. This is a way to get into it, to understand it. So to conclude, what I want to say is a Kilthotic experience is one whereby it's something that is done to the person. There is no free will, and in fact I would argue that there are agencies which have come from completely outside of this universe. There's a guy called Chris Thomas who's written in his books, Universal Soul is a great starting point. He's a healer from Wales who's been practicing with his wife coming off for 40 years now in Wales, and he's written about what he calls the 14th faction, which is his take. So this is where he describes it. There are many different universes, and this is a universe where we have free will, but there is one universe, at least one, where there is no free will. And that particular universe, there was an accident in our universe whereby some of that universe entered into our universe, and that's where the ability to experience Kilthotic events has come from. So it came from a completely different universe, and what happened is that it intruded into ours, and that is the reason why we have Kilthotic experiences. And what I would say from personal experience, having had experience of Kilthotic events in my life as a child, it's fundamentally disturbing, and there is a great silver lining within this black cloud, which is that when you have experienced a complete violation of your free will, it gives you an understanding that nothing else will give, and it's a perspective which is ultimately very valuable, although disturbing. And the best place for such experiences to be is in the past and not in the present, very obviously. So that's my brief introduction to Kilthotic experiences. What I will do is I will leave you a few little clues which you can take as stepping stones to explore this a little bit more if you feel drawn to do so. So thank you very much.